Hi, this is Margaret Schlachter with Obstacle and Adventure Weekly. I am here with Joe De Sena, who doesn't really need much of an introduction, but for the 2 or 3
most of
people,
the world. Most of the world.
Okay, most of the world. Joe is one of the founders of Spartan Race. You're the CEO of Spartan Race. You also are a New York Times bestseller author with Spartan Up. You've done an Ironman or 2, a couple adventure races, that race called Eco Challenge once or twice, and what else? What else can you say? And you're a father of 4.
Father of 4 is the big one.
That's the biggest one.
Yeah.
And have a wonderful wife.
Great wife. You can't be a good man without a great wife. Matter of fact, in Sparta, they were very concerned that the women had to be tough enough to withstand what the men were going to do, because if they weren't, they were afraid Sparta would fail. In other words, men go out to battle, they're gone for a while. If the women started to fall apart, the entire culture would fall apart. The entire country would fall apart. And so they had to make sure the women were extremely tough, and they were. So I got a really tough Spartan wife.
What made you get into athletics? What was that driver?
So my mother was a vegan, meditating yogi that got into running. God, it was the early 70s in Queens. There was a race in Queens that was 3,000 miles around a 1-mile loop, and so those philosophies started to get instilled in my sister and I, but we thought she was nuts because everybody in the neighborhood thought she was nuts. So we didn't accept that philosophy right away. And then fast forward, I got really focused on making money and working, and started to feel unhealthy in my late 20s, and stumbled upon all my mother's philosophies again. So Bikram yoga, running long distances, long distance adventure races, and I just got recharged and excited about it. And so I went and did all this stuff, and then everybody I would drag along with me to do this stuff, they changed their lives, and so then I said, we got to put on races. And so started putting on races in 2001 with a race called Expedition BVI. It was the first peak race, and we lost the guy. We lost the guy for 8 days. No one really knows that. It was written in Sports Illustrated, but it was a little story. He drifted to Little Tobago. His boat broke down just before the race, and he drifted 150 miles in the ocean, and ended up on a deserted island. And we found him with the Coast Guard 8 days later, and he was completely cool. I didn't know what was going to happen. He said, "Hey, can we go for dinner? Because I'm starving." So that was the beginning of the insanity.
Wow, wow. So it's kind of legend now about when you did the Eco Challenge, Ironman, Badwater, all those sort of back to back to back.
Yeah.
But there's a story that I remember that you've told me. Actually, you told me as we ran up the mountain one morning, up the mountain behind us here, about a moment at Ironman Lake Placid. I don't know if you know what I'm referring to right now, but that Eco Challenge Fiji, you said you had done, it rained, correct?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I know where you're going. So so it rained in Fiji, had to be 6, 7, 8 days straight. Non-stop rain, cold, misery, and but what happens is you become accustomed to it. And so then when I came out of that and I did Lake Placid Ironman, it was poor. It was torrential rain. People were dropping like flies. Pros were quitting the race. It's going to sound silly, but it's true. I got to the end of the race and people were talking about the rain, and I was like, "What rain?" I didn't even notice it because I had just come out of non-stop rain. We were sleeping in the rain. We were eating in the rain. We were freezing in the rain, and your body adapts.
Tell me a little bit about your kids. Most people don't ask about your kids. Tell me a little bit about your 4 kids.
Kids are great. They're under wraps. My wife is always, being protective of her cubs. So we got to be careful there. But they wake up early. We have strict rules: 5:45 a.m. wake up 7 days a week, and an hour of exercise, and then at night a minimum of an hour of exercise. And well, you know the kids because you were their ski instructor. But Jack, the oldest, ran the Boston Marathon this year, and we're going to attempt to have him do a 50K within a month.
Oh, wow.
So it's amazing because if you go run with him for a mile, he's tired, he doesn't want to go, but then somehow I got through the Boston Marathon with him, so I don't know how it's going to go in the 50K, but we'll see. So the kids are training, and who knows if it's working or not. We'll find out when they're teenagers if they go crazy and start hopefully not drinking and doing all kinds of crazy things because I did this to them, or maybe they'll be CIA agents that are Navy SEALs on the side. Who knows?
So, because you're a dad, and you're dad number one, still, even though you're globetrotting right now, you're promoting your book, you're all over with Spartan Race, tell me about, because a lot of people want to know that are parents, how do you be a parent and be a Spartan racer and still get your kids involved and have that balance?
You just got to do it, right? Like, we all remember when we were kids, we didn't spend all day inside. We spent it outside. And so it's easy, if you're on the computer like I am, or I'm sure you are, to just hole up in the house or in your office, and then your whole family's doing that, and they're playing on computers. But you got to get them outside. And so that's why we're mandating, like brushing your teeth, it's 5:45 a.m., 5:30 at night workouts. So, and we just make it part of our life, right? And then when a race comes up, whether it's Boston Marathon or Killington's Half Marathon or the Beast this weekend, the kids are thrown into the mix, and they got to figure it out. Yeah. So Charlie did Palmerton PA's race with Jack. I let them go on their own with a volunteer, and I heard on the radio about an hour and a half later they wanted to quit. So I immediately ran up to that location. What are you guys doing? Do you think you're quitting? And my younger son said, well, my shoe fell off while I was dragging the I forgot what he was doing, but his foot went in the mud. He lost his shoe. They couldn't find his shoe. So I made him do the rest of the race with one shoe. But he got it done. So you just got to make it part of your life.
Now, what do you do for you to stay in shape? Do you work out with the kids, or do you get up early before them, or how do you fit in your own fitness?
I'm nowhere near the shape I should be in. I'm an endurance typist. I'm really good. I've been running up the mountain each day, but that's just a quick half hour, 45 minutes. And then I've got this great body weight routine that I try to do, whether it's burpees or body weight squats or whatever. I try to do like 1,200 to 1,500 reps of stuff, and so that's what I do. Cool.
Well, tell me about Pittsfield. This is a neat little town that you're in.
It's like the Bermuda Triangle. This is the Bermuda Triangle. People come in, they disappear. It's a vortex. Miguel, came here and attempted to build a cabin way out there in the woods, and we've never seen him. He came and he's gone. And many people since Miguel have attempted to do that, and they just vanish into this vortex.
And we had Chris Davis here a couple of years ago, and then Danny was here.
Danny was so great. Danny lost 100 pounds living on top of the mountain, only eating apples and training every day. And then his girlfriend came to pick him up, and he went right to Ben & Jerry's. And then we never heard from him again. So Ben & Jerry's is the killer.
It's a killer, everybody. Yeah. It's really tasty, but it's a killer.
The killer.
Well, Joe, tell me a little bit about, most people know about Spartan Race, but tell me maybe one or two things that the average weekend racer that shows up to a race might not know, sort of behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's a philosophy more than it is a race. It's a way of thinking, just like the Spartan culture was a warrior, way of thinking. And so we want you to be a little uncomfortable so that you can be comfortable. We want you to be hungry, right, so that the food tastes better. We want you to just completely get out of your comfort zone and grow. And so when we design the courses and we lay out the obstacles and we add things that people say later are crazy, there's a reason behind it. Now, all our obstacles are athletic in nature, so we're not going to do anything just stupid to potentially hurt you. We think it's a sport. We think we're going to get in the Olympics someday, and that doesn't mean you have to come out and compete at a high level. It just means you got to come out and take the first step. I had a guy call me today who deathly afraid to sign up for Spartan Race, as most people I'm sure are, and he signs up, and this will be his 5th Spartan Race now, and he's completely transformed himself. So you got to take the first step.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you could give the average, and again we're talking right now, the average person that's out there that's watching this, 2 things that they can do to get themselves ready for Spartan, one physical and one mental.
Well, I'll give you, they're both physical and mental. How's that? Okay. So Admiral McCraven, who was the senior ranking officer in Special Forces, recently did a speech at University of Texas, and he said, if you want to change the world, start by making your bed. So I would suggest everybody start by making their bed before 6 a.m. because that means you're awake. So if you can get up before 6 a.m., that's mental and physical. Make your bed, That's the first step. And then the second step is, whether it's a Spartan race or a marathon or a bike run, whatever, sign up for something and broadcast it. Tell everybody you know you're doing it, because that will force you then to start not drinking wine late at night, finding new friends, waking up early, making your bed, and doing all the things that change your life. So do those two things, your life will change overnight.
And I think I have one more to add. If you're going to work out with Joe and he says you're going to go for a short run, be ready to possibly get lost on the trail.
It's done on purpose.
and Joe has creative ways for toilet paper.
That's right. That's right. I cut my sleeve off once to. I remember I came back to run with my team, and there was a full sleeve and a short sleeve, and they said, "What?" I said, "I had to go to the bathroom."
You cut a shirt when we went before,
there you go.
And I think you were one sock less one time
there you
too.
Go.
Well, thanks, Joe, for chatting.
No
I know I asked you a couple different questions, hopefully, than you've gotten before. And any words or anything that you want to talk about, we're in Vermont right now, so is there anything you want to say about Vermont right now?
Vermont in general, or the Beast?
Both.
I think Frank Sinatra should have called it Vermont, Vermont, not New York, New York, because if you can make it in Vermont, you can make it anywhere. This is a rugged state, and you know, thousands of years ago, many people believed you become rugged when you live in a rugged place, because this is a hard, look, you can't farm here, it's very hard, it's all rock, right? The weather is tough, brutal. You lived here, you know it.
Yeah.
But it makes hardened people, as long as they get outside, right? If you sit inside and you drink yourself to death, that's not going to make you a hardened person. And then as far as the Beast goes, I think that course lends itself to what I just said. It's brutal because it sits in Vermont, and there's going to be a lot of crying, a lot of pissed off people, but when you cross that finish line here, it really means something. It's a huge accomplishment.
But that crying and pissed offness, that's kind of part of it, isn't it?
I used to, every race I did, I'd be into it halfway, and I'd say, "What? Is this PG? Can I say it?
You can say whatever.
What the fuck did I do? Why am I signed up for this? This is terrible. I'm going to take up ping pong." And then you get to the finish line, and somehow you sign up for another one, and you sign up for another one, and it's addictive.
It's a good addiction,
It's a good addiction.
Yeah. Much better than the bars and all that.
That's
sort
right.
of thing.
That's right. Well, and you know what? You know, most people meet husbands or wives, girlfriends, boyfriends in bars. Much better off meeting in a Spartan race. Much better off.
It happens.
It happens.
It happens. Or at the death race.
Or at the death race, yeah. But then you don't know what you're getting.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for taking the time. I know this is an extremely busy weekend here for you.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, good stuff.
And definitely let you go hang out with the family now.
I gotta do some kicks and punches with the kids.
Kicks and punches. Kung Fu time.
That's right. Noodle. Let's go. Noodle. Hey, this is Joe and Noodle, and you are watching Obstacle Adventure Weekly.
Okay, my name is Jon Albon. I'm from Great Dunmow, United Kingdom. It's near London. I've been living in Norway for 2 months though. I'm 25.
You are the reigning, now 2014 Spartan Race World Champion. Came in from the UK, our dark horse of the race. Tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got into obstacle racing.
I've been doing obstacle races for about 3 years. Always like to run, really enjoy running, so I think first and foremost I'm a runner, but I kind of enjoy the strength element as well, even though that's not my forte. So yeah, obstacle racing it's wicked fun.
What is your background? Are you a runner? Are you cyclist? Or
Definitely a runner. I enjoy cycling, definitely not a swimmer, but then thankfully there wasn't too much of that in this race. But then strength probably comes last.
And tell me about some of the other races that you've done outside of just, you've done obstacle racing, Spartan Race, we were talking earlier, yep. But you've done some more extreme.
I've done a lot of ultra marathons lately, especially this summer. I enjoy cross-country ski. I've done a cross-country ski race. I enjoy going snowshoeing. I enjoy orienteering. Lots of other types of obstacle races as well. I've done the death race, so I guess that's kind of classed as an obstacle race, but not quite. So yeah, just generally trying to challenge myself and push my limits.
And tell me a little bit about your work commute that you've had up until recently. and how that might have helped with your training.
That was the main reason I got a lot of miles in race, because I live 17 kilometres from work, so that would either be a run or a cycle every day. So then that was base mileage, then I could add on any training on top of that, so no matter what happened, I had to get to where I was going. I wasn't going to drive, so it'd be running or cycling.
So Jonathan, tell me a little bit more about you as a person. What do you do for work? And
I'm actually unemployed at the moment. So when I quit my job and moved to Norway 2 months ago, so since then I've been unemployed. So thankfully I've actually had 2 months to train for this race, so that might be part of the reason I managed to do quite well. But I'll be looking for a job after this.
And what were you doing before moving to Norway?
I was a building surveyor working in London on London Underground for the refurbishment projects, and yeah, it was a good job, but I'm excited to try and find something new in Norway now.
Excellent. And about how many obstacle races would you say you've done at this point?
Oh, that's a hard question. I think this year I've probably done about 20 maybe, and last year probably more like 10, year before that 5, and then 2 maybe.
How did you get talked into kind of coming here to Vermont?
I guess, well, having the World Championships as a name is going to entice anyone to come, but it was just the fact that the opportunity arose. I knew I'd always done well at obstacle race. I always thought to myself, who could beat me at running and jumping over stuff? So if you simplify it like that, I fancied my chances, and I thought I'd just see what happens. So yeah, played out quite well.
Now, did you know the competitors coming into this race? Did you know who you're up to?
I had an idea about who they were, and I watched the embassy footage from last year, and I knew faces but not really names, so it was wicked to run alongside those guys and sort of see what their strengths are and find out they're human more than anything else, because, I mean, played up as being gods, so it's just nice that I managed to keep up with them, to be honest.
And then how does racing in the US compare to racing in the UK?
Well, this is my first US obstacle race, so I guess this is the only one I can base any sort of opinion on, but it was different. I found it less about continue obstacles and more about running 2 obstacles and then doing an obstacle, then more running. So it's sort of more broken up by long running sections, whereas I'm more used to sort of lots and lots of obstacles continue chipping away at you. The obstacles here were heavy, like the tyre drag and the sandbag carry were amazingly heavy, so I wasn't used to that.
So you're going to come back next year to defend your title?
So I haven't even thought about it. I've just been enjoying the fact that I won and relaxing and soaking up the sun, really. So I'll think about that another day.
And what's in the future for you? What other races do you have coming up? Anything that's notable in and outside the obstacle world?
At the moment I've got nothing booked in except for a little race next weekend up some stone stairs, which should last about 10 minutes. So apart from that, I've got to sit down with the diary and just see what I want to do, just see what I think will challenge me, and see what I think I will enjoy, and take it from there, I think.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again, and thank you.
Cheers.
I'm a whack, no, it's total wacko going through this. I don't like it that way.
Yeah.